All right, for circumference, you got the two formulas, 2 pi r and pi times d. If it gives you the radius, just plug that in. The exact would be 12 pi. I think it's 37.7 if you do the decimal version. If it gives you the diameter, you can do the diameter formula if you want, pi times 13. That would be your exact. And then 13 times pi, whatever decimal that winds up being. Somebody do it real quick.
It'd be 40.8.
All right, so that's decimal and exact version of circumference.
What about just there? So it'd be
14 pi.
Oh, give it 22.
All right, if it says arc length.
Good morning, Early County.
All right, if it tells us to find arc length, that's degree over 360 times 2 pi r. So arc length is always degree over 360, 2 pi r. So in this case, I would do 120 over 360 times 2 pi 5. If y'all can't shut up, get out. So I would do 120 over 360 times 2 pi 5, and I think if I remember right, it's 10.5. But every arc length problem is going to look like that.
Yes, sir.
All right. If it asks for anything else like measure, I go back to the proportion which says arc length over 2 pi r in degree over 360. Arc length comes from where? The 10, the outside part. 2 pi r, in this case, is 2 pi 7.
And what you do?
Measure of BC over 360.
What do 360 times?
Then all you got to do is cross multiply.
So if it say find M, it always be that formula.
If it says find measure or circumference or radius or anything like that, you're going to do the proportion.
Okay.
And then whatever that winds up being would be your answer.
So whenever you do that one, instead of cross multiplying, you can just take the
You can do the cross,
measurement of
just
BC
the
down.
360 times everything. You don't have to do the full cross
It'd be
multiply.
81.9.
81.9. If I wanted to do this one, I would say 15 over 2 pi 8, because I need the radius, not the 16. And then measure over 360, and then I'll cross multiply the
So
360.
you put pi 16 instead of 2 pi 8?
You could put pi 16, that would work the same. All right, if it says find circumference, I'm going to do the arc length on the top. 2 pi r is C.
C.
So I'm going to put the C in that spot. The degree always goes over 360. Cross multiply,
60C
and you got to do the full cross multiplying on this one. I think that's right. And then divide. All right. If it says find the radius,
You're going to
given the
take,
circumference,
You're gonna
I'm going to say 52 equals 2 pi r divided by 2 pi. Now, what did I tell y'all about this part right here?
you have to put it in as a fraction.
Put it in as a fraction, or put the 2 pi in parentheses, one of the two. And then whatever that winds up being would be your answer. So if it says find radius and it looks like this, I'm going to start by saying find circumference. So I'm going to take the 2 pi r out, put the c in. So I wind up with 105c, 12 times 360. Somebody do that real quick. 4320 divided by 105. Like 40.
41.42.
All right, so I find C, and then I go and do what we just did a second ago, and say, okay, 41.1 equals 2 pi r,
Divided by 2 pi.
divided by the 2 pi, and that is
That's our 64 point.
You gotta do it in a fraction.
Yeah.
You did the division without
6.6.
you did the division without the parentheses. That's what messed it up.
Yeah.
All right, so that would be finding radius on that right there. If I wanted to find diameter, what would I do first?
Oh, you're gonna do find the radius.
I'm gonna find the radius first, and then take the radius
multiply it times 2.
and times 2, and you got diameter. All right. This one we had trouble with on the quiz. It tells me that these two angles are the same.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to say 360 minus 70 And that gives me 290. So that tells me all of that part for BCA right there.
Got it.
These two are equal. Well, it's 290 divided into two equal parts. So each part would be 145.
Yes, sir.
And then when it says length, I go back and say, well, degree over 360 times 2 pi r. R is 7. Type it in, you got your answer.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
If it's the chart, same stuff. If it says length,
Be 100 over.
degree over 360, 2 pi 4. If it says find the measure, I go to the proportion and do that. If it says find radius, I start by finding C. So I'd work that out, find whatever C is,
Then times.
and then go C equals 2 pi r, plug that number in, divide by 2 pi. All right, are there any questions on the circumference stuff? All right, if it's area of a sector, start with basic area.
Be 7.
All I'm doing is pi r squared, pi times 7 squared. If it is exact,
You want to do 5.
49 pi. Do the number, leave the other part alone. If it's the decimal, I take 49 times pi. Somebody, real quick. 150 or something like
That's
that.
153.9.
All right, if it gives you the diameter like this 17, what do I do?
You divide it by 2.
I divide that by 2 and
It's
then I
gonna be
use that number.
8.5.
So I'd have to do 8.5. All right, if it tells you here's the area, find the radius. Start with the formula. Plug the A number in. All right, here's where some of us messed up on the quiz yesterday. What's my next step? Divide by pi. That part we did. What is that, 69.1 I think, if I remember right. And y'all
You got
left
square
it
root.
right there. You've got to square root it to get your answer. 8 point something. That's the part we didn't do, is we didn't finish it with the square root, so make sure you do that. All right, if it says area of a sector, degree over 360 times pi r squared. It's the same thing as arc length, but I take out the 2 pi r and I put in the pi r squared because now we're talking about area. So this first one will be 63 over 360 times pi 5 squared. Whatever number you get will be your answer. Here's the part that's messing us up. This second angle, you need to do 360 minus the angle that they give you. So I've got to do 360 minus 63. Take that number and plug it in
297.
and get whatever answer that is. That would be your two parts right there. If it says find anything other than area of a sector, go back to the proportion. Where does the area of the sector number come from? Where does the area of the sector?
18.
It's the outside area, the little part they give you. 18 over pi 6 squared. Degree is what I'm looking for. Over the 360. What do I do with that?
360 times
360 times all of that junk over there. And you got your answer. Alright? If it says find the area of the whole circle, the area of the sector part goes on the top. What do I do with pi r squared?
Change it to C or A.
Change it to A, because that's what it is. That's what I'm looking for. Degree over 360. This one we've got to do the whole cross multiplying and dividing.
This was on the quiz yesterday, wasn't it?
Yep. This is what was on there. Alright. If it says find the radius, well, start by finding the area. I'll cross multiply. Not going to work it all the way out. You would get your number for area. Then I'm going to go back and say, well, there's my area equals pi r squared. Divide by pi. Whatever number you get, square root it, and you got your answer. This one killed us on the quiz. It tells me the total area and the sector area.
Yes.
First one says find radius. Well, I go back to the pi r squared formula.
It'd be 42.
Whole area is 205. I divide by pi.
You need 64 point something.
I think it's 65.3 or something
Then
like
once
that.
you square root.
And then you square root that to get your R.
Then you gonna use it for the other.
Then it says circumference. Well, circumference is 2 pi r. We just found the r, plug that number in. And I want to say it was like 50.8, I'm guessing on that. Then it goes back to measure. Well, measure is our proportion here. Area of the sector over the total area, degree over 360. So the area of the sector is 42. Over the total area, 205. Degree is what I'm looking for over 360. Cross multiply. We have that, you might have it. 360 times 42 over 205. Maybe 78.3 or 73.8.
Might give me a fraction.
If it gives you a fraction, what do we do?
Divide it.
You just do the dividing, but I think it's 73.8.
It's
Is that right?
Give me a better-
All right. So then it says go to length.
You said.
So then that length is degree over 360 times 2 pi r.
you put all those stuff you got.
So I'm going to say, well, degree is 73.8 over 360 times 2 pi r. R is 8.1. Type that in, you got your answer. All right. Any questions on anything?
Oh, the